Hello, my name is Dr. Peter Eley, and I am an Associate Professor of Mathematics Education at Fayetteville State University. Today I'm going to share with you 5 keys to success at the college level. I found these to be 5 of the things that if students do them, and they do them well, that they will find themselves to be quite successful in whatever major that they decide to go into. And let's get right into it. Number 1. Go to class. Now I know people seem, everybody does not go to class. You will be surprised how many students get there and they actually do not go to class. If anything, you go to class, you might learn something about osmosis. In most cases, when you have at least shown up to class and given us this, it seems like that you have the proclivity to pass the course, then sometimes we can give you the benefit of the doubt. But at the end of the semester stuff, when you have not been to class all semester, you've been here and there, and then you want to come in my office at the last minute and beg for a D or a C, not happening. Because you didn't even have the respect to even show up to my class when the class was scheduled. If you did not want to take the class, you should not schedule it. If you didn't found out that you was not a morning person, then you should have gotten your schedule changed. If you found out that you're an afternoon person, if you found out you don't like the afternoon and you'd rather do something else in the afternoon, should have got your schedule changed. So please make sure you meet with your advisors and get a schedule that fits you as a student. So number 1 is go to class. I know that seems like that's a no-brainer, but believe it or not, most students do not go to class and therefore they fail. Just simply why? Because they do not go to class. Number 2, learn the people in your major early. What do I mean by that? So let's say, for instance, the first 2 years, usually you go through what they call general education courses. During those general education courses, we are trying to give you information to broaden you, and then you narrow down to what it is your major, whether that be nursing or engineering or mathematics or whatever the case may be. But what you'll find out is, the first 2 years, you don't have to be over there. You usually get into like an extension of high school, so to speak, but on a much deeper level. But what I encourage you to do, if you already know what you want to major in, you've already decided that, make yourself known to the people over there in that major. Why do I say that? Because sometimes there's some things that certain majors have that other majors don't have. They might have pre-major clubs. They may have pre-major opportunities that you need to be aware of. Because the sooner you can get in, the sooner you can know what's going on. When you get there, you'll already be ahead of the game. So therefore, go over to wherever it is that you plan to major in and introduce yourself, get to know the professors, get to know what we call the movers and shakers or the rainmakers, and find out who's doing things, find out who's doing research, find out who has research money, find out if you can participate. All these things, I promise you, will lead to you being a little bit more successful a little sooner at the college level. Number 3, do not get a job. If your job is a full-time student. Now, I know there are circumstances where somebody, you just have to work because maybe your family situation, you have to maybe pay your tuition. I understand that. It's still not the ideal situation. Why? Because most students, when they have to work, they have to try to balance this, and it's tough. And something's going to give. Usually, they're not going to give up that job, because that is supplying their resources, financial resources, or their needs. So it ends up being school, and then you end up wasting money and time, your time, my time, and we all are not very happy about that. So it's important that you do not get a job. So what I mean by that, what you need to do is, maybe in the summers is when you get the job and you save up your financial resources so that you have enough. Either take out more financial aid so that you don't have to have a job. I'm telling you, trust me on this one. You rather have a little bit more financial aid, and this is my professional opinion, myself, I'd rather have a little bit more financial aid and have to pay that back at the end and do well, which is going to equal to more dollars and cents for you later, than you try to struggle through work and go to class, and then you end up doing mediocre in the classes, and then on the back end when you graduate, that's going to affect you even more then. So you're going to pay. Either you're going to pay now or you're going to pay later. But usually what I tell people is you want to pay on the front end because you hope that your later is much longer than your now. Number 4, internships. Whether they're paid internships or if they're unpaid internships. Internships are there and available to you. Take advantage of them. Take advantage of them. Do not go into an internship thinking, you're going to get this job. You go into the internship to do a good job. If that means you being the gopher for them, that means you getting coffee and donuts, so be it. They know that you have more ability in that. That's why they looked at your resume. That's why they looked at your transcript. They know that. They don't care. What are they testing? Can you be a team player? What is your character? Can I deal with you? Do I even like you? What do I want you here as a colleague? Do I want to recommend you to somebody else? So what do you find out when you in a place in an internship? It's about the connections. So network. So if that means getting the boss's coffee, if that means getting everybody donuts, maybe not, not at your own pocket. Of course, most of the time they pay for that kind of stuff. If that means you being the jolly person, you do it. Why? Because you got to remember like this. People who work for people sometimes don't always work for them. They go to other places. They start their own businesses. They become CEOs. Yes, they do. So what happens is you want them to say, you know what? I need this kind of person. I need somebody with this kind of character to be in my network. I need this kind of person to help me do this. And you want them to remember you. Yes. Talking from experience. So internship, yes, go in there, do a tremendous job. And maybe you're not going to go in there and learn exactly what you thought you was going to learn. But what you will learn is the people skills. The soft skills, what we call them. A lot of you are brilliant students, and you're going to be brilliant, but you lack soft skills, meaning that you don't know how to communicate with people. You spend a lot of time on the computer, texting and all this stuff, but when you got to get in front of somebody, you clam up. You learn this kind of thing doing your internship. So internships, whether they paid or unpaid, take full advantage of them. Take a full advantage of every opportunity. Be an opportunist. Because you don't know what opportunity is going to lead you to your destiny and get you the dream job or the dream situation that you've been desiring anyway. So make sure you do internships. And number 5, which to me probably should be number 1. So any of these is no particular order, but they all are important, especially to me as, my years as being a professor. Be nice and respectful. A lot of people say real quick, professors come off as know-it-alls and they have attitudes and all that. Yes, because we've been dealing with jerks all day in some cases, okay? So you might have just been the one that caught the wrath. Is that fair to you? No. But you kill us with niceness. Because you know what? I remember even the day that I might have been a jerk, I can remember, that kid was so nice. I feel bad about that. Let me call them. What can I do to make things right for them? You want to be that person. Be nice. Always be respectful. I cannot tell you from me personally how many times yes ma'am and no ma'am have gotten me into situations when it happened before. Why? Because people are still not used to hearing that. It seemed like that would be common, but it's not. People don't say yes sir no more. People don't say no ma'am no more. But when you say that, you stand out. And people remember that. If your professor or whoever you're working with has a title, please use it. Some people are really, anal retentive about that kind of thing. Me, maybe not so much. But if they are Dr. Such and Such, call them that. If they're Mr. Such and Such, call them that unless they tell you different. You will find some during your time be like, oh, no, just call me Tom. Oh, no, just call me Sally. And if they give you that permission, then you can use it. But even then, I try not to use it because I always want to be respectful of who they are and the position that they're in, because one day I might be in that position and I will want the same respect and admiration that I'm giving to them. To get respect, you must give respect. So be nice. You'll be surprised. Something so simple as being nice, how far it would take you, how many doors it would open for you. Because people, when we going through these things and we look at all this and everybody's grade point average is the same, everybody seems about the same, I'm thinking, how do I decide who is this? Well, you know what I do? I said, you know what? Such and such is a really nice person. Such and such can get along with pretty much anybody. Such and such is a team player. Such and such just has a good spirit about it. Such and such is collegial. This is at the end of the day when everybody looks the same. This is what matters. People don't want to work with jerks. Professors don't want to work with jerks. Sometimes it may be our fault. Don't hear me and hear me well. Because we are human and we make mistakes too. However, at the end of the day, whether it's my fault or not, you always be respectful. And the good professors, those who really find out when it's their fault, they will come back and they will acknowledge. And most of us, we even apologize to you. So always be nice. Always be respectful. So in wrapping up, and my 10 minutes up is almost up here, is number 1, go to class. Number 2, learn the people in your profession early. Number 3, do not get a job unless you absolutely have to. Number 4, take advantage of internships. And number 5, be nice and be respectful, and watch the favor of God be upon your life, and your college years will be your best years, and there'll be things that you remember from them going forward. God bless you all. The best to you and much success.